one of those things happened, and that's the nature of these sort of walk and talk videos. I got interrupted by a message, and actually the last video came to an abrupt end. And I've decided, having said so much already, and the nature of these videos, that the best thing is actually just to get on with this. So this is the challenge of Islam, part 2. One of the challenges so what we're doing is we're talking about the challenge of Islam for Muslims. We've talked about taqiyya. We've been talking a bit about the idea of Islam as a religion of conquest. Is it a religion of violence? And what I was just saying is that when you see surahs like Surah 2, verse 191, that talk about putting to death enemies, here's the context. Muhammad is this young man who is horrified at what he sees as the idolatry in Mecca. And he cries out against it, he rails against it. And he comes into conflict with the authorities, and so as his faith starts, there's a lot of conflict that he will perceive as coming from people he regards to be Christians, as well as those that are overtly pagans, and seems to be a perception of coming from Jews as well. So a lot of what you're hearing or reading in the Quran is about Muhammad's views of how do you live in a society where there is conflict, where your religious beliefs and customs are under attack, and very different to what a Christian would have said in that context. His response is that you fight back. And so these texts are defensive texts. They're the idea that you defend yourself and your people, and the idea that if you believe that territory is yours and it's taken from you, that you can go and take it back by force. We can't ignore that. And I think if there are people that believe that they have claimed territory in the United Kingdom, in particular communities, then that will have implications, won't it? But we shouldn't use those texts to make Islam itself about conquest and violence. However, we have got to be alert to how that has been used and interpreted through history. And that adds another bit of pressure onto your Muslims living here, and it adds challenges for Christians seeking to get to know and love their Muslim neighbours. But it leads into the final challenge for the Muslim, and by implication for the Christian seeking to love and witness to their Muslim neighbour. And it's the idea of Ummah, which is really the foundation for the idea of an Islamic state. And that's the idea that if you are a Muslim, you are part, first of all, of a community, the nation, the house of Islam. That's your first loyalty. And that is a community that crosses nations, that goes all around the world, that is multicultural, multi-ethnic, that before you are anything else, you are Muslim. And what that means is that to leave Islam is not just to leave behind some privatized religious beliefs. It is to leave your people, to leave your communities, to be called out from them. Whether or not you want to. Now, you may want to be as a convert in the world, but not of the world, in a Muslim community, but not a Muslim anymore. But that is often seen as not possible from the other side. And so, as a convert, you've got a couple of choices. You can either seek to continue living with a community and effectively be a secret believer, or you can try to keep living there but be open about your faith and realize that that is going to cut you off, and then you've got all of the challenges on a shame kind of thing. And I know of people who have become Christians in the United Kingdom, and they've said, actually, this is very dangerous for me, that there are people who would want my life because of it. We can't ignore that. And it means that you are also so the other option that you've got is basically to move out, to leave, to find somewhere safe to live your Christian faith. But the challenge then for us as Christians is this, that if we want to see Muslims become Christians, then we've got to be alert to the huge cost that there is to them of becoming Christians. We've got to recognise that even now there are the tensions of challenges of where our relationships are, where our identity, and that will become more and more for third and fourth generation. It's my loyalty to this country, to the United Kingdom. What does it mean to be loyal to the United Kingdom? How does that interact with my faith? What about my loyalty to the country of origin, which I may, if at other stage, have very little connection with? And what about my connection to the Islamic Ummah, that wider worldwide community? There are, out of all of this, some implications for what it means for us as Christians to love our Muslim neighbours. We can't just have this kind of privatised, individualistic thing. And we're going to have to do a lot more than simply give them Gospels and Bibles and give them evangelistic messages and pray the sinner's prayer. There's a lot more that is needed. So hopefully over these accidentally two videos, you've picked up some things that will really provoke further thinking and conversation. I love the back and forth and the debate that we have the opportunity for in the comments here and on Facebook. And I will try and share these videos on Facebook too, and perhaps even open up the comments there for discussion and debate. But it's not just theoretical, is it? If we as Christians want to love people and come to faith in Jesus, then we need to get serious about understanding Islam and knowing and loving Muslims